past today, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah, is there like a break? Is there a musical break? Yeah, we did. We started with the seas of, yeah, trees of green, and then we did the, yeah.
Sounds good. Is the sound check okay, Seema?
Coco, your friend's back. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to, all right, let's do that again. Good morning, everyone. Love that. I would even wait for another good morning. Thank you. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Visalia. We're so happy you're here, either in here or out there somewhere listening to us. And I don't see anybody that's new today. So I think we'll go right to Reverend Susan, who is our guest minister today, and she will pray us in.
All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be with you. I was going to do something a little bit different this morning, if you're okay with that. There is a beautiful poem by Reverend Carol Sissel. She's a Universalist Unitarian minister, and I would love to start us off with that. So let's all take a deep breath. If you're comfortable, close your eyes, settle in, and come home. Bring all that you are to this wonderful space. Blessings and burdens, joys and sorrows, laughter and tears. Come in, come home. Rest a while in this sweet place of covenant, comfort, and care. Lay each burden and sorrow upon our pillars of strength and support. Place your tears in a stone bowl, worn smooth by love and the passage of time. Come in, come home. Settle into this house, painted with wonder, tinted with awe, and bound by covenant. Breathe in the joy of community and relationship. Delight in the laughter of children. Let your spirit be refreshed and renewed. This is your sanctuary. This is your haven. This is your home. So come in and know this, that we have been waiting for you. Amen, and so it is.
Okay. Hello. So we will go to our opening song. Take it away, band.
So everyone's got to sing along with us.
Okay.
We all know it.
Oh, yeah. You know, you're Jesse, right? What? Oh, you're Allie. On the table, right? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
I've seen you around
That's great. Friends, we are all friends here. And it's also birthday Sunday, first Sunday in April. Do we have any April birth? Donna Kay? Oh my gosh, we got a bunch. Willie's birthday today. All right. And Sue, it's your birthday too? All right, we have 3 birthdays, and Carol, it's Carol's and John's yesterday 50th wedding anniversary. So we have lots of things to celebrate. We'll include you in the birthday song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
All right, that's exciting. Lots of important things going on today. So I was supposed to put this in the newsletter that came out this last week from Janice. Janice is still in rehab up north, so I decided I'd read it today. This is from Janice. What a month. Julius Caesar and I were affected by the Ides of March. But I must admit that it has truly been a learning experience. I am currently in San Joaquin Valley Rehab in Fresno. The staff and food are both excellent. That's good to know. And I feel they are truly investing in me and my leg. It is rumored that I will probably be leaving this coming Tuesday. So, hooray. I sincerely appreciate your prayers and support. I feel that you also are on the team that is supporting my wholeness. I know that John appreciates also your gestures. And then she says, although you may not feel like he does. I don't know. And then she says, only children can be very independent. I am looking forward to seeing you soon. Namaste from Janice. So we're glad to know that. So we've had quite an exciting weekend so far. Several things going on, and Linda's going to come up and talk about what we did yesterday here in the center.
Good morning. How many people here were here yesterday? Oh my gosh, it's almost everybody. It was so exciting. My energy right now is like out the door because it was so much connection. And as we believe, we're all one. That's why I love the Tree of Life. And there was just so much going on that had to do with everybody, vendors, participants, people that are members here. Everybody was in a big pot stirring up and connecting with each other. New faces, old faces, and it was exciting. Yeah, I didn't mean old. So, yes, the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo, for anybody that doesn't know. We had 14 vendors here, all varied modalities. We had somewhere between 75 and 100 people come through that door to be here and enjoy that experience. It could not have gone any better. We did make a little money, but I don't have the final count because we spent just a little bit, so we'll tell you that in the future. It wasn't designed as a fundraiser, but it was designed to raise new friends, and there was 75 potential new friends plus the vendors coming through. One of our vendors is right there, and she was here yesterday. And she used to come, and so now she's back today just to support us and everything. It couldn't have been better. I feel very blessed to have been a part of it, and I hope everybody really enjoyed themselves. Thank you.
So we have to give out a big shout for Lynn, who coordinated the whole thing. almost everybody here helped. So we needed a big team to make it happen, and we appreciate all you so much. So I'm going to show you a few pictures. So, so we started. So before the expo on Saturday, we had First Friday here, and Dale was here to read his book, The Day Grew Dark, and it's his actual. It's sort of an autobiography, jazzed up a little bit. And he sold 6 books of his, between the books and his workbooks, even though there probably weren't more than 10 or 12 people here total. So that was pretty good. Then on Saturday, this is what the place looked like. We had vendors all around the room, and you can see some of the people are doing the Qigong, which I can never pronounce. The next slide shows our Qigong experts. They were doing several demos. It was fascinating. Oh, the mom there is 84, and she was doing it all along. Then we had Tino here doing his 4 directions blessing and signing books, and he was very popular. And then we had the sound bowls, and she had this wonderful table that you could lay on with wonderful sound and a little bit of reverberation. It was great. And then this was the bowl. I thought it was going to be a huge bowl that you stood in. It was just this little bowl. But you stood in it, and the person there is ringing it, so it would ring and reverberate. And I did it, and I thought, okay, this is nice. I didn't get a lot out of it. But Simon just told me this wonderful story that one woman went in it, and then she went, because one of the things you could do was get your aura, a picture of your aura taken. So she did that before she went in the bowl, and it was all just scattered. Then she went into the bowl, did that, had her picture taken again, and it totally changed. Simon told me she was a cancer survivor taking care of a cancer patient, and so she came in, feeling like there was so much going on, and that made a difference to her. So exciting that different things work. And there's more. There's our Reiki T-shirts. She made all those, and she said she makes them with water. Oh, Kathleen's got, okay. Show Kathleen. She's got hers on. You got to come up higher, Kathleen. They can't see you. Yes, Reiki infused. So she says when she tie-dyes them, she uses Reiki infused water, and that Reiki is supposed to, even if you look at it, she said it should help you. Do you feel Oh, she liked the heart shirt. Great. She says, she's at the farmer's market. Anyway, this was beautiful, but it was interesting that Reiki, she says, is infused in that. And another one, here's our massage person standing right here. I swear she was massaging, she just done a little short massage. It was up and down and all over, and I wish I'd gotten one, but I didn't get in line fast enough. And one more I think we have. Oh yes, here's our bee lady. Debbie isn't here today. Debbie and Simon, or maybe are pooped out, but Debbie wore her bee costume, and her dog wore its bee costume. And she had all these honey products that she was sewing and talking about. She has a whole bee industry back in Brazil, where she's from, and she's talking about the health benefits of honey. So she was always is great, and she was fun to have. Oh, and you see on the back of that, show that slide one more time. And the very back, you can see Rachel in the white. Rachel had a book. Oh my gosh, Lori Kathleen got the book too. My gosh, okay. There you go. There's the book. It's beautiful. It's an amazing book, and I think we're going to get her to do. I've asked her to do like a workshop for us on it, because she's a therapist, and it's a beautiful book. And if you buy it, then you also get it on her monthly podcasts and different things. So it's a group support group. So yeah, don't talk because no one can hear you outside. Anyway, you can, if you want to see it again, you can check with Lori afterwards. So it was such an amazing an amazing thing. And so what we did, so let's we also had Sean got us these wonderful wristbands which say change your thinking, change your life. He also got us our banners. That's what we say, right? So the things that I really enjoyed were we had those mini workshops in the back room, and they were on things like qigong, meditation, peace, and Reiki. And I sat in on a couple of them, and I was amazed. But before that, oops, there they all go. Thank you. They're helping me because I need to read from one of those. So we thought for a little fundraiser, we're always raising money. There's on the back table, and we thought if you'd give a donation of $1, you'd wear one. And it also has our website on it, right? Yes, our website on it. So if you wear it, people ask you what it's about, you can tell that's our philosophy, and you can direct them to our website. Also, Crystal Barn was a wonderful partner in this. And we probably got most of the people here because of them, right? Because they have such a following. But they gave this coupon out, $5 off if you go to Crystal Barn, but we get 15% of anything they sell off this coupon. So if you're inclined to go to Crystal Barn, these are on the back. Just take one and use it, and then we'll get a little bit of benefit from that. So Lynn is planning to do this again in the fall, and I think it's going to be another wonderful event. So one thing, I wanted to end with one thing that we did. In the Reiki workshop, Jessie, who was wonderful, she talked about Reiki as being channeled energy, and you can do it on yourself, which I had no idea you can do it yourself. And so she had us do this, I guess it's called Gasho prayer. And she says this is what she starts when she does Reiki. This is what she starts with it. And I need a helper. Lynn, come up and be my helper. Because I can't hold this and do this at the same time. So Gasho means two hands coming together. So if you want to do it with me, you put your hands together with your thumbs facing you. Then you go all up. Then to your forehead, which is your third eye, she says. And then to your throat chakra, and your thumbs are going to yourself, and then down to your heart chakra, and then repeat after me. Just for today, I will not worry, for it is an illusion. Just for today, I will not be angry, for it is a distraction. Just for today, I will be true to me and my true self. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. And just for today, I will be kind to myself and others. Namaste. So thank you. It was wonderful. I'm so glad. Thanks for help. Thanks for coming, being there. And we've got a few more announcements. So today is Explorers Day. We're going to finish up the stages of faith development. So we started with not really no faith, but almost no faith. And now we're going to universal faith. And so we'll be talking at 12:30 upstairs. So we hope you'll come. These discussions are always really fascinating. Evelyn always gets us going, and an interesting thought process. Go get lunch, come back, and join us. And we have a new class. So this was part of Lynn's plan, that we would get all these new people in here, and then we would offer a class right away that they might be interested in, that talks about our philosophy. And our philosophy, again, change your thinking, change your life. It's a free one-day workshop. You can attend either day, or you can, if you want to come to both of them, it's fine. It'll be pretty much the same, but different people, so it'll be different. Reverend Don is doing it on Zoom, and you can sign up on the back table, or you can sign up at the website here, cslvisalia.org/classes. And when you sign up, we'll send you the Zoom link, and you can come in either on next Saturday or the following Tuesday night. And I wanted to put this up one more time. This was from our meditation workshop. We're doing all these wonderful things now. This was, and Mead was so great. And she sent us this list of, she does every Tuesday morning, every Wednesday morning, she does a little podcast. And I'm planning to get to it this time because I haven't heard it yet. But those are, that's the website, and I think we have those somewhere. We did have those flyers somewhere, so you can join her. Again, she's going to be doing more workshops for us. So, enough. We will turn it back over to Reverend Susan to do our diversity discussion.
All right. Thank you so much, Donna. Wow, what an exciting weekend you guys had. I would invite you to join me for our diversity quote written by Leo Buscaglia. Love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, and be good to yourself. Because without you, the rest of us are without a source of many wonderful things. How lovely, so perfect for today's theme as well. And then we also have our weekly affirmation. I'll talk more about our weekly theme in a little bit. Our weekly affirmation is, I let my gentleness reveal my giant self. Let's say that again together. I let my gentleness reveal my giant self. And then why don't we take a breath? And I would love to offer an opening treatment. For those of you who might be new, when we say spiritual mind treatment, it's our language, it's our faith, our technology that we use. Another word for an affirmative prayer, actually. So let's breathe in that breath of life. And we know that there is only one mind, one spirit, one love, one nurturing God, or whatever name we choose to call it. God, Buddha, Lord, Source, Universe. It still is the one. It is a God of love, wisdom, power, and beauty. Air, wind, fire, water, earth. Everywhere and everything breathing in, through, and as all of creation, not just in this world, but beyond that, to what can not even be seen or heard or perceived yet. I know that I am surrounded by all that is holy, beautiful, and perfect in this world. I live in total gratitude and awe for the riches that surround my life every day. And it is from that place of gratitude, that place of awe and delight and surprise and wonder, that place of knowing and certainty, that I speak my word for everyone within the sound of my voice, and even beyond that, for all of my colleagues, my friends, my teachers, my members, this beautiful community. All of the Centers for Spiritual Living, I offer a declaration of love and abundance and peace, transformation and bliss. As Ernest Holmes, our founder, so eloquently states, we are emancipated from any perceived limitation as we go about the business of living fully. And I know that whatever is true for me, for this community, for our congregants, it's true for the entire world. Good and more good is the right of every being on the planet, whether two-legged, four-legged, winged, or otherwise. So this prayer then is for an abundant, peaceful, loving world that works for everyone. A world where peace prevails. A world where violence is non-existent. where hunger and homelessness is a thing of the past. It is a world where all people know who and whose they are and live accordingly. And this gratitude I feel allows me to just be in a space of peace and joy and to release my word, this truth, into the action of the law, spiritual laws, knowing it is done and all is well and all shall be well. And on another breath, I turn us back to our musicians who are going to sing one of my favorite songs written by Michael Gott.
We'll have the lyrics up on the screen so you can join in with us. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. Reason you live is found in every gift you give. Live your life, love all your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. The places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Let's just stay here in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes even senses come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath and smile.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our Sunday service team, our amazing musicians. I'm so grateful to be back with you again. It is a glorious day here in San Jose. I'm in San Jose and it's sunny and it's chilly, but it's sunny, so it's really lovely. And it's the first Sunday of April, as you know, and we're embracing a brand new monthly theme. And the monthly theme is giant gentleness. And I love that because we've watched kids' movies or Disney cartoons where there's a gentle giant. And this month, we remember that gentleness is actually a powerful thing. It's not, it has nothing to do with being meek. It's really about opening up to who we say we want to be and how we want to move through the world. one of my favorite authors is Margaret Wheatley, and she wrote a book called Who Do We Choose to Be? And I love that book because it's all about how we can show up as warriors for the human spirit. It's really powerful. And gentleness, that whole concept of being a gentle giant, it lets the moments of our lives be sacred and holy, even the moments that we didn't necessarily invite into our life, because life happens. So each week in April is going to be an opportunity for you as we follow the month to expand our awareness of gentleness. And this week we start with ourselves, and we acknowledge how we can allow all of those moments to be for our highest and best good. Because in the end, it usually turns out that it was. Did you ever pray for something and then you look back however much time later and go, wow, I'm glad that didn't happen? So I have had many experiences like that, where I think of things that I prayed for, and even before I knew how to do a spiritual mind treatment, I was raised Catholic, and it was a lot about beseeching and talking to the saints and having them intercede for me, because like I couldn't talk to God myself, but I look at that and I think of some of the things I prayed for, and I'm like, wow, God really, really, there really is a power in the universe that has a little more wisdom than I do. So our topic for this Sunday is Your Gentleness is Showing. And it's an opportunity to remind us that we're so much more. You are so much more than you give yourself credit for. And I'm going to explore 3 things that it takes to be gentle: awareness, compassion, and gratitude. Those are the 3 things we'll look at briefly today. And it takes courage. It takes courage to choose to be gentle, but it's a worthy exploration, and it allows us to switch the narrative and to see things differently and be okay with being your authentic self. That whole aspect of awareness is self-awareness, being your authentic self. And I'm going to confess right off the top that gentleness is not my default. I can be gentle. I can be compassionate. I'm going to be a chaplain. So there's a lot wrapped up in that, and babies and puppies and all of the things that we can cuddle and hug. That's one thing. But the aspect of gentleness, like with my communication and stuff, I have to work at it. I had a great conversation with my son the other night, because I'm from Brooklyn. His dad and I met from Brooklyn. We're from the East Coast, so we kind of live a life where if it's on my mind, it's on my lips. So I don't know if there's anybody out there that's like that, but I actually had to develop a filter. I had to work on it. And my son talked about it the other night, and he said, and he wasn't born in Brooklyn, but I guess he was raised by us. So there you go. But he said, it's exhausting sometimes. And I laughed and I said, yes, sometimes it actually is. And I'm so grateful that I can surround myself with people with whom I can be my authentic self. And they know who I am at my heart. They absolutely know my heart. And that I wouldn't hurt a fly. But my default, our family, we always joked about having T-shirts made that said sarcasm. It's a hug. Because it's just kind of who we are, and it's not mean-spirited, but we're funny and we're quick-witted. Both my sons, one is really dry and the other one is kind of like me, very quick-witted. My husband and I were out to dinner last week, and we laughed so hard that people were turning around and looking at us, and they could ask us to leave, but we were having such a great time. So sometimes gentleness really takes work. And so I want to start with awareness. I took my first foundations class probably in 2001, I think it was. And the practitioner, who was the teaching assistant, at one point she said, "You are God informed, act accordingly." And it was funny because she really did yell at us pretty much. It was kind of like that. And I just like took this breath like, oh. And then one of the first Sundays I ever set foot into a Science of Mind church, I heard Reverend Dr. David Bruner say, "You are a magnificent mess, and God wouldn't change one thing about you. And again, I just kind of went, ah. And honestly, that was probably, like I said, 2001. And in all those years, that was 23 years ago, and I have never forgotten those two things. You're a magnificent mess, and God wouldn't change one thing about you, and you are God in form. Act accordingly. And it helps me remember that I am an individualized expression of divinity, and so are you. So are you. So much of that is true. But we all know that we can hold two truths simultaneously, multiple, not even two. We can hold multiple truths simultaneously. I am God in form. I'm a human being. I'm a God in form, and I'm still going to experience the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. It's not just a children's book. It's life and how we move through it. And part of this being human, right? God in form, but human. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And then there's fear and anxiety and doubt that happens. And I've been me for a very long time. And so have you been you for a very long time. So we also have, think about it, decades of other people's voices, opinions, judgments. I know that they're in my head, and they're probably in yours, different ones, but they're probably in yours too. That's the whole concept when we talk about race conscious in our teaching. We're not talking about race like race, creed, and color, that kind of thing. We're talking about the consciousness of the human race. I am certain that if I say to you, money doesn't grow on, what would you fill in the blank? There you go. Everybody would say trees. That's an example, a very simple one, but that's an example of race consciousness, right? So we have decades of that. And then on top of that, we sometimes made those voices our voices because we started to believe it. And again, I'm going to be very honest with you. Well, I can't talk about self-awareness without being honest and authentic with you. There are times when my self-talk is worse than I would ever let anyone else speak to me. Really, I'm fortunate. I do live with a practitioner, and my husband will catch me sometimes, and he'll look and say, "Please don't talk about my wife like that." I mean, it's true. And you know what? We deserve better. We really deserve better. Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is something about you and me that is cosmic, universal, that stretches over time and space. Let us learn to think better of ourselves." Can you imagine he wrote that like so long ago? And here we are in 2024, the first Sunday in April, being able to go back to that. Let us learn to think better of ourselves. So that self-awareness is the thinking that you're not just sacred and holy some of the time, or only when it's a good day. You're sacred and holy when it's a terrible, awful, no good, very bad day. And you're also love and form. That's an important fact. And when you can remember that, even for just an instance, just take a breath for a second and say to yourself, I am love and form. And it feels good. It gives that instantaneous relief. You can distance yourself from discomfort, from upset. And it opens the space for answers, by the way. When we can do that, we clear a space. Nature abhors a vacuum, and we can have solutions and opportunities that begin to show up. It allows us to recognize patterns, habits, judgments that no longer serve us. And then we can let go, right? We can let go without judgment of ourselves and others. We begin to move through the world as who we're meant to be, these warriors for the human spirit. In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes wrote, if we are to have an active faith, the faith of God, instead of merely faith in God, faith of God, our thought must be centered in universal mind. We are convinced that under divine law, all things are possible if we only believe and work in conformity with the principles of that law. Such a faith does not spring full-orbed into being, but it grows by knowledge and experience. And I would also add that it grows by compassion. which is my second point. As much as compassion for others has been so much the focus of my chaplaincy studies, there has been an equal amount of teaching and dialogue about self-compassion and self-care. Every class I've taken, my cohort that I meet with every 2 weeks, we keep talking about self-compassion and the importance of self-care as well. Jack Kornfield wrote, if your compassion does not include yourself, it's incomplete. So I'm really grateful that the effects of trauma in our lives has come to the forefront with trauma-informed care. It's really, doctors, psychologists have really started to up-level the education of our society about trauma and trauma-informed care, because trauma lives in the body. And I can safely say, I don't know anyone that hasn't experienced trauma of some kind. I really don't. I also don't know anyone that hasn't said or done anything they don't regret from time to time. Just me. There she goes again. So, to go forward, right? To move beyond regrettable moments. That's where we get to practice self-compassion and self-forgiveness. It's so important. Reverend Dr. Barbara Waterhouse, may she rest in peace, she taught that if you could have done something differently, you would have done something differently, and you didn't, so you couldn't. I just want to say it again. It is so simple, but so profound. If you could have done something differently, you would have done something differently, and you didn't, so you couldn't. So letting yourself off the hook, it's important, and it's kind, and it's compassionate for you. And if you can't do that for yourself, we're not going to be able to cultivate how to do that for others, right? And that doesn't mean that we don't learn from our experiences. It doesn't mean that we don't choose differently in the future, right? But by being self-compassionate, you can create an openness for different ways of doing things. You can explore other options. And most of all, it helps you forgive yourself for the choices you made in any given moment. I read this week that it's important to remember that compassion is not an emotion. It is the response to suffering. And though emotions are often involved, they do not have to manifest in any specific way. And like anything else, it's a learning curve. It takes practice. And that's why we call it spiritual practice. What's your spiritual practice? We don't call it what's your spiritual mastery. I mean, maybe, you know, I'm working towards it. I've been working towards it for 20 years now. The other thing I had, believe it or not, I had a Catholic priest tell me one time that feelings are never right or wrong. A feeling is a spontaneous emotion to an internal or external reaction. I'm sorry, a spontaneous reaction to an internal or external event. He said, you can't pin morality to a feeling. The morality comes in with what you do with the feeling. So it's okay to be angry. How you express that anger is where we want to look at what works. We want to go back to who and whose I am and how we want to move through the world. I can express anger reasonably. I could say, you know, that didn't work for me when you said blah, 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 or it hurt my feelings. Can we talk about this? It works so much better than you're dead to me. I have had to cultivate that. So, and then I want to talk about gratitude. That's the third one. Pam Grout wrote these fabulous books. And in one of them, I'm sorry, I don't know which one right now. She said, I would like to suggest that there is nothing more important you could ever do for yourself than tune into the frequency of gratitude and joy. I think that's so awesome. I think she wrote that in E Squared. E Squared is a really good book if you haven't read it. But tuning into the frequency of gratitude and joy, there's always something to be grateful for. I think the last time I was with you was right after my husband had had a heart attack. And I will tell you that in the midst of it all, I was so grateful for the care he was receiving. In the midst of it all, I remember to be great. My son, who like just popped into the hospital, he was supposed to be at work and he just showed up in the hospital room and spent the day. He said, no, he said, I know how draining it is to sit here and Max is going to be going in, they put 2 stents in his heart, blah, blah. And he just stayed with me the whole day. And I just kept thinking that there's always something, even the simple things about your life, like, oh my gosh, I took a walk today and it was really pretty outside. Be thankful for the accomplishments rather than looking at what is left undone. I saw a meme recently that I loved, made me laugh out loud. And the meme said, I crossed a lot of things off my to-do list today. I didn't do them, I just crossed them off so I'd feel better. I think that's so awesome. It's such a great reminder to appreciate what you have, right? I would love for you. I'm not going to make you do it, right? But wouldn't it be awesome if once in a while you just sat down and made a list of your awesome qualities? You don't have to write the list unless you want to, but it's such a good practice of being grateful for yourself. And you can be grateful for you without the list. And then really try loving yourself instead of beating yourself up. Let the anxiety and the worry in the moment, I know it's going to be present, but find things to be grateful for, like, wow, I brushed my teeth today. You know, I remembered to put on pants before I left the house. I mean, sometimes when it's a really bad day, you just grasp on to something, like my coffee turned out really good today. I love my coffee. And then try sending love to parts of your body that maybe you don't appreciate so much. I know you just had like a holistic fair or a wellness fair on Saturday, and there was a massage therapist there, and there was Reiki in the water. That's amazing. And these beautiful heart shirts. I loved watching that. But I remember a long time ago, a massage therapist I used to have really bad neck problems because I just on the computer way too long and it wasn't ergonomic enough. And I was at it all day. And she said, have you ever thanked your neck before you go to sleep? And I said, what? Brooklyn. And she said, your head is like a bowling ball and your neck holds that up all day long. And when it aches, you notice it. She said, tonight and for the rest of this week, before you go to sleep, I just want you to do this and thank your neck. Just thank your neck for thank your neck for holding up that bowling ball every day. And you could do that. You can send love to parts of your body that you don't appreciate so much. Somebody suggested standing naked in the mirror, but I'm not going to tell you that. You can do that if you want. I'm not doing it. And then when you wake up in the morning, send love into your day. Just when you open your eyes before you get out of bed, just think about it for a split second and say, you know what? I'm sending love out into my entire day to everyone I'm going to encounter today. And when you're frustrated, when something's not going right, send love to it. There's one other thing when I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. I don't know if it was Carol or Linda, but somebody was talking about the water with the Reiki in it. And Dr. Masaru Emoto, you may have heard about the experiment he did where he treated water with love and gratitude. And he put water under this, powerful, powerful microscope. And the water that he talked to, like plants, and treated it with love and told it how beautiful it was, formed the most brilliant crystals. And there was other water that they talked bad to, and it looked like mud and gunk under magnified like 1,000,000 times. And I just want you to imagine that if water responds that way, what showing yourself gratitude and love can do. So I just want to leave you with a couple of things. Imagine that starting today, you're building a culture of giant gentleness where you're comfortable in your own skin, your minds, you're safe and loving, a culture where you're allowed to mess up and it's not the end of the world. A culture where you love yourself more often than not. And when you don't, that's okay too. Just be gentle. Today in this world, you get to be yourself. You get to be different and unique. You get to fail and succeed. You get to have good days and bad ones. You get to say what you want and what doesn't work for you. You get to experience this life as you, rich and full. You can release judgments and assertions about yourself and others. You can move through your community as a place of where love shows up. That's who you are in form. You can start thinking today that as a community, we let ideas of possibility and generosity and kindness be what we focus on. Do that with one another. Right here and right now, we know and live from an expanding awareness of truth that life always works out. Today, be willing to let your perspective change and let this be your giant gentleness. This is your grand rising. Thank you so much. Let's pray. We go back to that place of breath every time, just as life begins on a breath and on a prayer. And as you breathe in, you drop into that space within you where there is just pure potential. That space within you where the heart of God is beating with your heart right now. The breath of God is breathing you right now. And from that space, we know gentleness. We know that there is only one power, and it is a power of kindness, a power of love, whatever name we give it. And we also know that we are one with it. I am one with the thing itself. You are one with the thing itself. You are a God in form, and so you act accordingly. There is no distance, there is no separation. That is just an illusion. And right now, in this very moment, through the wonder of technology, we are together. And I know I speak my word for each and every person within the sound of my voice. A declaration of love, a declaration of gentleness, a declaration of self-love and self-compassion and self-awareness. It is our birthright to be these true, unique, individual expressions of the one. And we move through the world knowing that I am that I am. Knowing that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and it was good. And so are we. And so with deep gratitude for community, for togetherness, for expansion, for gentleness, for awareness, compassion, and gratitude, I release my word into the action of the law, knowing it is done before it is even spoken. And all is well, and so it is. Amen. And now it is back to our musicians to sing another stunning song, a perfect song for this day.
I of the rainbow, pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I say friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? They're really saying I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
All right. This is the time when we give generously from our source, and we give from our heart. And so I invite you to join me to say our giving affirmation together. I give of my treasure, knowing that we live in a reciprocal universe. As I give, I receive. I am grateful for all the good in my life. And so let's bless these gifts. I bless these gifts. I send them forth to heal and bless and prosper. They are evidence of our faith and our belief. It does good work in the world, and it returns to us multiplied abundantly. Thank you. And now I believe we're going to form a circle. If you could all stand and join hands or not join hands, but be in a circle as we sing our peace song together. And thank you again to our fabulous musicians today and our tech team. All right, let's join together for a moment of benediction. Won't you know with me that you are never alone, that spirit source is where you are right now and always. And all you need do is look within to know that you are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. So joyously, I invite you to make use of all of your gifts and all that you think and all that you say and in all that you do joyously. And so it is. Have a good day, friends.